Hi there, my name's Chris Can with Mining Journal, and with me I have Sara Turnbull from the SRK Exploration team discussing the future of exploration. And in this conversation, we're going to take a look at the shifts in geographical exploration opportunities. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. I wanted to start by asking you about current jurisdictions that you see as most attractive or where the greatest opportunities may sit, and potentially, given that geology doesn't necessarily behave in line with national boundaries, what are the major geological trends that are getting the most attention at the moment?
So currently, what we're really seeing is a very big uptake in the Arabic space. So we're doing a lot of work in Saudi, a lot of work in Jordan, in Egypt, and predominantly in de-risked spaces. So generally going for gold. It's one of the commodities that we're really interested, or the markets and the industry is interested in. However, we've also seen a big uptake in battery metals. So things like cobalt, lithium, obviously lithium, graphite, vanadium. There's been a really big interest in these areas. And I would say quite globally, depending on the commodity, depends on where we'd be working.
Okay, it's interesting on the commodity side of things if we want to stray into that area just for a moment. Cobalt, you mentioned, really interesting, but an uptick in battery metals. There has been a little bit of heat coming out of that market, but you're seeing a lot of work and a lot of interest still in that battery metal space.
So there was a lot of interest. Unfortunately, there's a bit of a lull now. What we suspect is that it will continue, or the lull will continue for a bit, but we suspect that it will start to increase again due to the fact that there's been commitments. Governments and manufacturers have committed to a change, to this global change to EVs. And with that, we should start seeing a greater demand for those commodities again.
Leads me nicely into the next question, Sarah. What is changing? Is it likely to be just that increased uptick in appetite for critical minerals, to use that term, or battery metals specifically, based on government policy? Or are there other things more related to geology or jurisdictional risk that you see shaping the way that exploration attention moves into the future? Maybe we're looking out kind of 5, 10 years time.
So yeah, what has been fascinating and what we've been working on for our team has been working on for the last year is working with an OEM, an original equipment manufacturer. And what we're seeing is there's far more pressures on them from an ESG perspective. So from the environmental, social, and governance, they're not interested in just buying the manufactured good any longer. They need to see sort of the raw product coming from start to end. And that's coming from a lot of different pressures, not just from the governments, but also from the consumer in general. Everybody wants to know where this is coming from. And that ESG factor is really putting a lot of pressure on it. So I suspect that in the next few years coming, that there's going to be far more manufacturers that are pressured into working alongside and knowing a lot more about where their product is coming from and having that conscience to have a good supply.
Okay, so we're talking about low impact exploration technologies, essentially.
That's correct. Low impact, as well as sort of working in more conscious areas where we're not encouraging bad practices or child labor, and knowing that it's coming from a good low impact, but also from a socially responsible region.
Okay, and it's a really interesting point you're bringing up there, Sarah, because we often hear people talking about, for the next frontier of discovery, you have to be in risky jurisdiction where there hasn't been a lot of exploration done with contemporary techniques. From what you're saying, it sounds like technology is moving, hopefully at a pace where explorers can operate in safer havens, in more responsible jurisdictions, and use modern technologies or technologies that we're expecting to be developed to bring those discoveries through at the rate we need them. Would that be reasonable?
So I think that it's really going to depend on sort of countries and the jurisdictions. I think that more countries are going to feel the pressure to start changing, to become more responsible, specifically the ones that have the commodities that would like to start developing their countries. However, like you said as well, we are fortunate enough that our technology is increasing exponentially, and we're starting to be able to do prospectivity studies and using geophysics or geochemistry to start directing us to covered deposits. So we've been great historically at finding deposits that are outcropping, but now that we've learned sort of the signals and the indications of the deposits we're looking for, I think that we'll become more and more successful at finding buried deposits. But that then also comes with the fact that it's potentially going to be more expensive. However, the other side is that with the technologies changing, there might be a possibility to mine that in a cheaper way as well.
Sarah, that's all we've got time for, but thanks so much for joining us.
Great, thank you so much.